those guys that tried to take the ball out of Mookie's glove. Somebody from ESPN found him in a bar and interviewed them.
Well, and why? Why? I mean, that's almost my thing is why is the media, do we find these idiots that do these stupid things and put them on TV and put them so that the next day when they go to work, everybody looks at them and they're patting them on the back. Oh, I saw you on TV. You make a 24-hour star out of somebody. Um, I mean, if they do something good, that's one thing. But we increasingly put these idiots on TV. And then we wonder why the level of society is being lowered.
Yeah, I just wanted everyone to know that I didn't go to college. I'm voting for Donald Trump, and I'm an idiot, and I'm proud of it. Also, I have season tickets in right field, up by the porch. We've been waiting for Mookie Betts to reach his hand over that dividing line. That's our dividing line. This is our
Right.
side. We can do what we want. You reach in, anything can
Well,
happen
there's
to
some
you.
idiots that believe that.
Oh yeah, those two guys believe it.
You know, yeah. No, those two guys. Now I didn't see the interview, but I could almost tell you. I looked at their picture, and you could tell. You knew what was going on there.
You
You
knew
know,
those
they're
guys.
they're probably looking to have the town they live in hold a parade for them. You
They've been
know, they're,
plan. Actually, they've been planning it. They've been waiting for someone to reach in
yeah,
like that.
they're assholes that just don't know how to control themselves in a
Oh brother, please don't freeze. Please don't freeze. Well,
Okay, obviously we're back with you. We're having some trouble with
we got
internet.
stormy weather. Got stormy weather in Seattle. I think that's interfering with our connection today.
Well, you would think that a place that it's like the concrete up here. You know, you can't find people that can put concrete together that'll hold the building up for any length of time. Same thing with the internet. I mean, the computer was, the Microsoft computer was invented in a garage up here. You would think that at least they'd have internet right.
Maybe tomorrow.
You
You
know,
know,
nothing's been right since Paul Allen died. You know, I
it's
hate to
because
say
that's
that.
because everybody in Seattle required him to fix everything. Seahawks are
Right.
leaving. What are you going to do? Get Paul Allen to fix it.
Get Paul
It's
Allen.
raining. It's
Get,
raining. What are
get
you going to
Bill
do?
Gates. Get Paul Allen and Bill Gates. They'll fix it. And since Allen died and Gates is, a playboy once again, Nobody wants to fix anything.
But they can't get the concrete to last a week. We got to dedicate the building before we finish making it. Why? Because it ain't going to be up there much longer.
Yeah. I mean, it's amazing. We built a stadium out of concrete, the freaking roof falls down. We built a bridge to West Seattle out of concrete, the fucking bridge cracks. I mean, I never seen anything like this in a place that, that I mean, if you should know how to do anything up here, it should be how to build a building out of cement, right?
How to make coffee. They know how to make coffee.
Yeah, they can make coffee. If you see a truck that says Seattle Concrete Company,
turn around and go the other way.
Run. Now it tells me that they're having trouble streaming to Facebook.
Well, we're live, so take that. The reason you're having trouble is because we're using the stream for Facebook, and we're not going to give it up till 11:15.
Amazing. Absolutely amazing. Well, a few people have stuck with us, and we appreciate that. As always, we appreciate every listener that we have.
If you happen to be a listener and a Yankee fan or a Seattle Seahawks fan, or you're just a baseball fan that doesn't have a team in the hunt, don't worry about that. You're going to feel better soon. You're going to feel better by noon today. In fact, how about let's have lunch?
Yeah, well, why am I going to feel better by noon? Tell me, because I'm an inquiring mind.
We're going to get together and have lunch. We're going to have Thai food or Mexican food or Thai Mexican food or Puerto Rican food. That's what we should have.
Well, I go for Puerto Rican food. I mean,
I go for Puerto Rican food.
I'm going to tell you something right now that there isn't a time when I was living back in Pittsburgh and driving up to New York. To my stepmom's house. There wasn't a time that I got back on the Parkway or back on the on 78 there to drive back to Pittsburgh, where I didn't have a couple of containers of rice and gandules and a pork hock and and some badass Puerto Rican food. I mean, the Italian food is good, but boy, the enchilada, all the stuff that she would make. I mean, she knows how to cook. Two things that Puerto Rican people know how to do. They know how to cook, and they know how to cook for a lot of people.
And that's not easy. That's not
easy. It's not easy. It's not just throw something in a frying pan. I mean, they know how to make pork chops. It's amazing the stuff she would make. I mean, it tasted like you couldn't go to a restaurant and get a better meal. You can go to the best Puerto Rican restaurant in New York. And I used to love, we've talked about this before, the comidas criollas, the comidas chinas, the place that had the Chinese, although those weren't Puerto Rican, they were from Venezuela. But they had the Chinese waiters and the Chinese food with right next to the Spanish food, right next to the South American food on the menu.
That's why Donald Trump hates. That's why
Chinese guy had come out and ¿Qué pasó? He started speaking in Spanish.
That's why Donald Trump hates them. There's two languages that he can't speak, two foods that he can't enjoy, and people from the world who have come to live in New York and make their home that he can't appreciate. He doesn't understand it, so he hates it.
I don't think he enjoys anything. I really don't think that guy.
He enjoys having his hair done. He does. It gives him great satisfaction.
Yeah, maybe. He just doesn't look like he enjoys anything. He looks like he's so bereft of joy.
Well, isn't it true, Vinnie? Isn't it true that if you weren't loved, you don't know how to love?
I guess, yeah. I mean, that's what all the EST people, the EST people say, right? If you weren't loved, you don't know how to love. Most of the group psychology people that were up in Marin and north of there, that was kind of their thing, right? You had to be loved.
That was their front. The thing was, you pay me and I'll get you clear.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. That was but the front was.
We're going to love everybody.
Love, love, love. We're gonna. If you're making white robes, you're gonna want to open up a store here because we're gonna be selling white robes for you.
Coffee. Yeah, exactly.
Or what was that muslin? That material they make it all out. Oh,
Yep.
yeah, that was. But he just doesn't look like somebody who was ever loved, man. I mean, really. I mean, I don't think his wives ever loved him.
The latest one certainly doesn't.
Yeah, I mean, she's a
That's a bit of a joke. But we can see it's a joke. So why would they show us that? Why would they say, "Can you tell if this is a joke or not?" Yeah, we can. We're going to show it to you anyway. She loves him. It's a great relationship, the best,
yeah, yeah.
like the world has
Um,
never seen.
did you see? You happen to see Jimmy Kimmel last night?
Did not.
Go back and watch the beginning of the Kimmel show. He spent a half hour lighting up Trump and had some of the funniest crap in the world. I mean, his crew, his writers, and his production crew and everything. They just do a great job, man. They light Trump up from every direction every night.
Every angle, always.
Any way that you can throw a match, they throw the match at him. They light him up, and the great thing is none of it's a lie. It's all true.
That's why it's
They're
so
not
funny.
making stuff up. He's funny enough to be the butt of a joke without having to make anything up.
Well, someone said it the other day, and they weren't being funny, so no one laughed. But they said best weapon against fascism, the only one that works, is laughter. It's the one thing they cannot abide.
I would agree with that 100%.
So it's
The problem is,
the most destructive force there is.
yeah, the problem is once they get in,
That's
there
it.
becomes less and less to laugh about.
Take a look at Berlin the day after Hitler committed suicide. That's what you got waiting for you. Block after block of destruction.
Yeah,
But this is our capital city. This was going to be the thousand-year Reich. Well, okay, I know we said that. It didn't work out the way we planned. We're fine because we're over here in Argentina.
right.
So good luck. Good luck to the rest of you guys.
If you're still in the city,
That's a
you
shame.
know,
That's a damn
if you're
shame.
hanging out in the city, you probably got a problem, and you probably want to figure out a way to get out of there or get friendly with some people who can do something for you. It's funny you mentioned. I saw a great movie the other night. I'll never be able to remember the name of the movie now, but it really was. It was about a bomb disposal unit after the war, right after World War II, and they were stationed in Berlin. And these guys had all made a bet that they would be the last person standing. And it had Jeff Hunter in it, and I can't remember, a gaggle of 50s B movie stars. But it was actually very well written and as enjoyable as a movie about getting blown up can be. It was, but it had a lot of that post-war rebuilding tension that must have been there in the middle to late 40s and all throughout the 50s. And it just was. I'll
Berlin
get
got
the
divided into four parts.
yeah. I'll get the title of it before we get out of here. But it was one of those movies that you go, oh yeah, I'll just turn this on for background music, and then the next thing you know, you're sitting there watching it and paying like heavy attention to it.
You know what I recorded from that time that I haven't watched yet is Stalag 17. Remember that one?
Oh yeah, I just watched that about a year ago. I mean, I'd watched it years and years and years ago, and I just rewatched it maybe a year ago, year and a half ago. Great movie.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, just on from several angles, from the look at life in the in the prison camp to the who's the traitor. There's just a lot going on there.
Yeah, that tells you something about the world we live in. You're captured by the Nazis, you're in a prison camp, and yet you're the traitor. You're working for them. They're so wonderful and so fabulous and so enticing and so attractive that you don't want to be with the Americans because they're losers. They're prisoners. You want to be with the Nazis. You want to trade out your own kind. You want to trade out your own people. You want to be the traitor. And what do you get? Do you think you get Puerto Rican food at the end of that? No, you do not. You get what the Germans are eating. The Germans are eating rats.
Bread and water is what you get. What else did I see that I was watching? Oh, I was watching um what's her name? Caitlin Collins. You ever watch her show on she's on at 9 o'clock, The Source, I guess they
Yes.
call it.
Hmm.
And she had Carrie Lake on.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah.
How is she
And
keeping? How is dear Carrie working on her truth
well,
serum?
Caitlin got so disgusted with her halfway through the interview because Carrie Lake tried to explain to Caitlin Collins how to do an interview
Oh, I see. Because she's a
because
veteran of
she's
the
such a
television world.
professional.
Oh yeah.
And Carrie wouldn't answer a basic question from Caitlin about
Was
will you admit that you lost the election?
no, won't do that.
Well, she won't do that. She's not. First, she came out with an excuse about legal stuff, and then she asked her the question again, and then she had another excuse and another excuse, and she basically said to her, "Well, how can I deal with you? What's the sense of continuing this interview if you're not going to admit you lost the election? I wish somebody would do that with Trump.
Well, no, we can't do that. It would upset him.
God, I would just love to hear somebody look at Trump and say, I'm not interviewing you. I'm not putting you on TV until you admit that you lost the election." And if 3 or 4 or 5 people did that, I would say to myself that that Trump might change his tune if he was faced with the idea that stations weren't going to put him on anymore. That might change his mind. The name of the movie was 10 Seconds to Hell. It was done in 1959, and it starred Jack Palance, Jeff Chandler, and a bunch of other people you'd probably recognize.
Jeff Chandler, I used to see a lot of him because he used to take infield practice with the Giants when they played at Seal Stadium. Don't ask me why,
Really?
but he did.
Yeah,
He'd be in
he
uniform.
looked like a baseball player.
He'd be in uniform.
Yeah, he kind of had that look to him. But anyway, and this is on YouTube, so it's free. I thought it was a great movie. And it was exactly about that post-war Germany. And these soldiers come back. I think the German soldiers come back, and they're part of the bomb disposal unit.
I got a free YouTube tip for you. Narrow Wolf, starring Timothy Hutton and Maury Chaykin. 2 seasons of mystery about the detective in New York that won't leave his house. He makes the criminals and the interviewees and the police and everybody come to him. And Archie Goodwin is his right-hand man. He's a private detective. And they solve crime all over New York.
Wow. And what's the name of it again?
Nero Wolf. Nero, Nero Wolf.
Oh, Nero.
Yeah.
Yeah, then they did a TV series out of that, didn't they?
2 seasons.
Yeah, I remember that TV series. I never watched it, but I'll have to check that out. Lauren Chapin, she was the young daughter on Father Knows Best.
Well, there's Maury Chaykin, Chaikin.
Oh, Maury Chaykin. I thought you said Lauren Chapin.
No. And the interesting thing about
Lauren
it,
Chapin
you
was the
would
young
appreciate
daughter on a kitten on Father Knows Best. So
correct.
if you're ever at a bar and that question comes up as a trivia question, You'll have it at your disposal.
And the cast of the show for the 2 seasons is repertory, so it's the same actors every week doing different parts.
I like that. I like that. That's yeah, I like, with this election, I try to look at a couple of new TV shows every week and try to cut my election viewing down.
You got to stop having people say, "Well, we need more from what I want. I haven't heard enough to decide." Shut up. Shut the fuck up and get off television. You don't belong anywhere near a voting booth.
Yeah, if you haven't figured it out by now, you're not going to figure it out. You just
remember half of the Americans have figured it out, but they figured it out wrong.
Well, as Joe Biden says.
What does he say?
Whatever it is, Kamala Harris wants no part of it.
Here's what you had to do. You had to do nothing. Do nothing.
All you had to do was sit there. They figured out that they couldn't put you out on the road because you screw something up there. So all I told you is, listen, go sit in your office. Every day we'll send somebody in to see you. Then we'll send lunch.
And then Bibi Netanyahu's on the phone.
We'll wake you up before war starts. And just try not to say anything.
You said you were going to wake me up when the war started. Yeah, but it ended really quickly, so we decided to let you sleep.
It was a quick war. Remember that one war lasted 6 days.
This one, not so much. No, it was like a half-day war.
Yeah, this one's going on a bit longer than anybody thought it would or should.
What did the Iranians do? Nothing, just like we thought. Nothing. They prayed.
Yeah,
they got an Ayatollah out there.
Something, but we don't know what it is.
The Ayatollah has got a cape made from beaver pelts and funny little hat, and he didn't have much to say. And the war's over. There's the short version is it's over.
Quick war. I mean, they dropped a couple of bombs somewhere, and that's it. That's all. On to the next piece of history.
That's it. That's all. Yeah, we're sort of all over the map today. So here's a question for you. I had trouble with my air conditioning unit in my 2006 Lexus.
Yes.
I went to the my mechanic, who was on vacation for the month of September. I didn't see him for a while because I needed a taillight. And I said,
did he charge anyway, even though you didn't see him?
Yeah, unfortunately, he did.
Maybe he just sent you a bill.
What he said was, "You can't see me. You can't see me."
Yeah, you can't see me. It's half price.
So I said, "Give me a price on what it would be like to fix this air conditioning unit. I want to know what's wrong with it. It's been a while. It's not working." He said, "What do you know what's wrong with it?" I said, "Well, we put the Freon in, and then there's no Freon." He said, "But when Freon leaks, it makes a smell. Did you smell it?" No. When Freon leaks, it get in the engine itself, there'll be a trail of grease. Freon makes a mess when it leaks.
It's a little bit of oil in it.
No oil whatsoever. So we fill it with Freon again, and we start the engine and watch it, and put it up on the lift, and watch from underneath, watch from on top, watch from sideways. No leak. What's going on there, Vin? What the hell is going on with that car? You're my guesstimate.
Well, it's hard to say without seeing it.
But there's nothing to see. We looked and looked and looked. For 20 minutes, we ran the car longer.
Is the compressor making it? Is the compressor going on?
Yeah.
When you hit the switch, the wheel in front of the compressor starts to turn.
And if you fill it with Freon, the air conditioning unit works perfectly, cooling the car as it normally would. But in the past, that Freon will only last for 1 day.
That would kind of tell me that somewhere there's a leak that you guys just aren't seeing it. It could be so minute of a leak that it's not showing up, or you could have bad seals in the compressor.
But no evidence of a leak anywhere you look.
Again, you're not seeing it because it's not coming out of a hose or a fitting. It's coming out of a seal that's inside the compressor, and it's evaporating before it gets outside of the compressor. And I don't again, I don't know that particular system well enough to just make a call like that. But that's
But that's
one
it.
of the
That's about it. Hoses, compressor, freon. That's about it.
yeah, and fittings where they could leak. Yeah, I mean, really, or there's hoses, there's the cooling unit that goes in. I'm trying to think of it in a Toyota goes inside the car. But it's basically that piece that the freon goes through in your car, the condenser they call it. In your car, I believe it's in front of the radiator.
You're exactly where it is. Exactly.
And is something leaking in there? Is there just a pinhole leak? It's got to be escaping somewhere. If you have no freon in the morning after you park it full of freon at night, the freon has to be going somewhere.
I'll let you know when I find out.
Yeah, I'd be interested in knowing because it's air conditioning can be such a pain in the butt.
And it's a good
Um,
unit. It's a really good air conditioning when it works.
I learned many of the more elongated curses that I know. I learned when my father was working on air conditioners.
Are they
Um,
hyphenated?
yeah, I heard them in all different languages. I heard Philippine curses. I heard American curses. Yeah, no, but because my dad used to work on air conditioners a lot because he was a an authorized Mark. I forget if it was Mark 6 or Mark 4. I forget which model air conditioner it was, but it was a air conditioner that you would buy and put on your car after the dealer.
Huh.
So
Aftermarket.
it was and so he would install these systems, and he knew he did it really well, and people brought for some reason he really knew these systems well, and people brought cars from all over the place to have him look at them. I
Did he
think he
curse
might
them
have
all?
done I think he might have done something like that in the Navy, to be honest with you, like worked on air conditioning in the Navy or something like that. Maybe that's why he was so good at it. But he was good at that stuff, electric and air conditioners. He could put a dashboard in a day. I mean, I've seen him rip a dashboard out of a car and have another one in there. You'd have to leave him alone. You have to lock him in the back of the shop and
Do not bother Dad.
don't go back there, man. Don't go back there. You just don't want to go back there because he was trying to, get all the wires where they're supposed to go and everything. But
You got to
so
concentrate.
my limited knowledge of air conditioning comes from him. It's odd though because you would think that you would see the oil leak, but
That's what he
it
kept
doesn't.
saying over and over again.
Yeah, it doesn't. Did he pressure test the system?
Yep.
And it wasn't leaking when he pressure tested it.
No leak anywhere. And he put it up on the rack so he could see better. And for another 20 minutes, he was underneath it and said, no, not coming out anywhere.
But at night, huh. But if you
The
leave
freon,
it
dis- the
in
freon,
the
the
morning,
freon, dis- the freon disappears when you run the air conditioning and drive to Woodland Hills and back.
yeah, there's got to be a leak that you guys just aren't picking up. Um, the only other thing I could think of is that there'd be a crack or a minor crack in the housing of the air conditioning compressor.
The funny thing is, it's leaving no trail. You can't see the results of the leak anywhere.
Yeah, you would think that you would see it, but yeah, if he's pressure testing it, he's not getting anything. Eesh, I don't like that. That
Well, we agreed that we're just going to get a new compressor if this doesn't work.
yeah, can he
Five
get
hundred
you a
dollars.
how much?
$500 with labor.
He's getting you a used one.
Well, I hope not.
Um, yeah, for
He
five
said the
hundred
he
bucks
said the part was 260.
sounds like a good price. What year is it? 2005?
6. Pretty soon they won't make parts for it. And that's no joke. Sounded like one, but it's not.
Well, they'll just be harder to get. There's so many of those cars out there that there'll be parts for them for a while. Yeah, I can't imagine he's getting you. I mean, just looking up on the at AutoZone, the price of an aftermarket 2006 Lexus IS 250 air conditioning compressor is $574.99. If you have an IS 250 and you go to Repair Pal, and that looks like it might be in California, that one says the cost of the replacement total is $825 to $1,079. Now, there's nothing wrong with a used or rebuilt air compressor as long as it hasn't been left out in the weather.
All the seals have to be normal.
Yeah, we used to drop them in all the time. And, the only thing you have to worry about is that if it's cleaned, which if you're buying it from a reputable junkyard, it should be. He might be buying you a rebuilt air compressor, which again, depending on who does the rebuilding,
You
so
take the air and compress it.
yeah, it's not a bad price. I mean, listen, the bottom line is, what do you care what it is as long as it works, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, you're not talking about that they're putting it in a brand new car or a 2-year-old car. I mean, he gets one, he works. If he goes down to the salvage yard and gets it and it works, so what? That's a lot less than I thought it would be. I thought he'd sink you for $1,000.
Well, I thought 1,500 because that's what he mentioned the year before.
Yeah. Well, maybe his memory loss is your gain.
We can only hope. Hope he's not leaking. Anyway, you got friends who are under pressure for this election? Are they starting to weary and wither underneath the
Yeah,
media
I am.
scrutiny?
Yeah, yeah. Everybody I talk to is nervous and well, it's funny. All the Harris people I talk to that I know are nervous. The Trump people aren't.
They don't know from nervous. They just
The,
don't know
the
from
Trump
nervous.
people are convinced that they're going to win. There's no it
One way or
doesn't
the
seem
other.
to be much thought of losing. The Donald has told them already that if anything, if I lose, the election is rigged. The election is, I mean, he's laid out everything already. He's already pointing his fingers at Pennsylvania and
Yeah,
saying
that's
that
where
they
he's
have
worried.
election problems there. Um, Already saying that ballot boxes are being stolen and being burned, and there was a couple burned here in Washington State,
By an idiot.
and one in well, I can't remember. There
Oregon.
was one, maybe Texas, I think, and the guy said he just wanted to become famous, so he burnt the ballot box.
Don't live in Texas if you want to be famous. Just do not do it.
So if you live in Vancouver or yeah, in Vancouver, Washington, they're encouraging you to go to the online where you can check to see if your ballot has arrived
And if it hasn't,
at
what are you going to
the
do about it?
Board of elections, and then if your ballot hasn't, and you're
Get a
probably
provisional.
within that zone, they'll probably give you a new ballot. So that'll give them something else to complain about.
So you can vote twice. Yay. Yeah, but vote
And
twice, count it once.
all of all of the people who are Trump supporters are trying to minimize the damage from the so-called comedian's remarks on Sunday from that rally. I just don't. What are they thinking in the Trump campaign?
Oh,
I
they're
mean,
not
how do you
thinking.
let a guy that now maybe the guy just never said anything like that before, and he thought this would be a perfect opportunity to run out some of my new material.
Did anybody ever ask him if, as a Republican comedian, was he funny? No, not funny in the sense that I'm a comedian. I'm a comedian that's not funny in that sense. You're gonna love this. You're gonna love my stuff.
I'm a sad comedian.
It's
I haven't
it's
worked in a few years.
it's not funny per se.
Right. Well, the intelligent part of the audience will get it.
Yeah,
And that's what happened. The intelligent part of the audience got it. Except that the intelligent part of the audience is the news media.
yeah. We know what you said. We know what you said.
And then, but listen, to be fair, there was laughter after he said it.
Well, of course, the
So
nervous
you never
laughter of a
really have to
Republican.
worry about,
If you're a
that these
Republican
people get it.
comedian, if you're a Republican comedian, you need a Republican audience. Otherwise, there's just not going to be any.
Well, it's just so hard to imagine that the Donald Trump crowd took offense to what was said.
And what do they laugh at? A kid falls off his bike in the intersection. They'll have a good laugh at that. Grandma crossing the road gets hit by a car. That's funny. Now that's
Well,
funny.
some of the most viewed videos on YouTube are the car crash videos.
Yes, more violent the
But
better.
people sit there and for an hour they look at cars, crashing into each other, people getting ejected, and all that kind of stuff. That's the hot stuff on YouTube. That's what people look at.
And talk about funny. I mean, you can't beat that for funny.
You see somebody flying across a highway because his car just got hit at 80 miles an hour. Boy, that's knee slapping. Now
You
again,
slap
I
your
don't want
knee.
to say that Trump's supporters are all like that.
They're not all knee slappers. Some of them are thigh slappers.
There seems to be a lot that are ass slappers.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there seems to be a large amount of people that are in the Trump camp that love to slap ass.
And you can get a red hat, and that's your ass hat.
You ever notice too that Trump spends an inordinate amount of time talking about how muscular and how guys look good?
Well, what are you going to do? He is what he is. He's his own
I'm
man.
just saying. Well, again, here's what he is. But if you start to hurt people because they are what they are, then you're no longer what you are you?
I would give you the Sopranos as an example. There's always a couple guys in the gang who are bad for business. They're bad for relationships. They're bad. They can't be trusted in house. They're causing problem. Maybe they're going out with Tony's sister. They gotta go. They've crossed the line. But you don't cross the line once. You got to cross the line like 3, 4, 5 times. Cross the line again.
Yeah, it didn't end well for Richie April, did it?
No, and Richie was pushing the envelope. Oh, he found that envelope and he pushed it and he pushed it and he pushed it. He wouldn't stop
it
pushing it. And no one took him aside and said, Richie, a word to the wise, go for a
no,
walk. Go
no,
for a walk.
nobody ever said that until Janice just decided that she had had enough one evening.
I can take care of this.
Yeah, I don't need my brother to take care of this. I got this.
Take him down to the sausage store and you know what to do.
Yep. Stay away from the Italian hot today.
Oh, it's hot. And it's fresh.
Yeah, Richie. And the funny thing is how could you not love it when he got whacked?
You did because no one loved that guy. No one liked him. No one could put up with him.
No,
No one
it was
tolerated him.
you knew a guy like him in the neighborhood. There was always a guy
Sure,
like that in the neighborhood.
absolutely.
There was always
Dark,
a guy that was just an asshole to everybody.
never satisfied, never happy.
Never happy. Could have all the money in the world, and he's just not happy. So his wife to be
Took care of it. She took the
said,
shortcut.
I'm not gonna let a guy do this to me. And boom, you won't see Richie around here anymore.
You won't see him anymore.
No, no, no. Um, yeah. So getting back to your question, yeah, there's a real
Concern.
yeah. People are really nervous about this. I mean, I know people that are taking like anti-anxiety pills because of it. That they want this to be over and they want whatever's going to happen to happen.
But that's not how we do it in America.
They want it to go their way. But as Tom Petty once wrote, the waiting is the hardest part. I mean,
That's a fact.
because it's so close, people are on edge. People are.
Here's something to make you feel better. Over 50 million people have already voted. The early vote is monstrous. It's huge. It's record breaking. And it's really good in places like Georgia, Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin. The states that have been told they're important, they took it seriously. They are important. The people who have responded. Now, I can't tell you how they voted, but if they're involved, that's good for us. That's good for the good guys.
Yeah, I think that. Yeah, I mean, I think if people come out to vote, especially the constituencies that are most likely to vote for Kamala,
It's good.
that I mean, the Trump people are out voting already. Because when it's a cult, you go out and you vote. You do what the leader says.
You drink your Kool-Aid when they say drink your Kool-Aid.
Right. Right. You don't sit around and wait. You do it when they say it. They say go vote at 6:30 on Tuesday morning, 6:30 at Tuesday morning, you're washed, dressed, combed, and at the poll.
Yeah.
So
you may not remember why you're there. You may need a reminder, but you're there.
They tape a little post-it note inside your wrist, and it just said, or they probably tattoo it. It says Donald J. Trump, and that other guy he's running with.
Tattoos on the forearm. Where'd they get that idea? It's a good idea.
I don't know, man. You know me, I'm not a tattoo guy, so I've kidded with my daughter and said that her and I were going to go get matching tattoos one day. And sometimes I consider it. I've told you this before. I just don't want to run the risk of not being able to get buried in a Jewish cemetery.
We don't need that.
Well, I'm not Jewish. I don't plan to get buried, but things change.
Things change without much notice. Things change quickly.
I could walk out of here tonight, this afternoon, meet some incredibly beautiful Jewish woman, and she'll want to say to me, listen, Vincent, why don't we get married? And I'll say, okay. She said, well, before we get married, I have to look. I have to see. Do you have any tattoos?
I got one of Richie Apreo.
Yeah, but oh well.
We can
see
get rid of that.
Yeah. Yeah, with a grinder and some 60 course, sand it off.
We taught the world how to eat.
Just a little tattoo. I'm sorry, you can't. Then you can't get buried next to me. You mean if I marry you, I got to spend eternity next to you?
It's a fine print. You got to read the fine print.
Uh, read the fine print. And yeah, the whole idea sounds. But I may wind up getting one just because I said I would do it. I'm not good with needles to begin with.
Forget about it. No one's going to care. Forget about
Maybe
it.
I could get one of those, have them make me one of those stick-on those, what are they, henna?
Yeah.
Those henna tattoos, I could put one of those on and she'd be okay with that. Then when I was hanging out with her, I could just put the tattoo on. When
Everything in
I
America's
was
got
going
big
out
enough.
with the Jewish woman, I could take the tattoo off.
Yeah, I think you got this figured out.
Who says I'm meeting? I mean, here I am, like getting ahead of myself, thinking, "Oh, I'm going to meet some Jew." I don't know. I don't know, Michael.
That is,
What do I know?
as the investigator always says, let us not get ahead of ourselves.
Let us not get ahead of ourselves. So, what do we got? What do we have happening? So this weekend. Oh, I didn't even. We didn't even get to this. What did you think of Kamala's speech? What did you think of her closing speech on the ellipse, where Donald sent his guys down the block to take over the Capitol?
I want to know why they don't change the speech in its entirety more often. That's all. I know she's got a stump speech that she sticks to, but I've heard that speech.
I would agree with you. Yeah, I'd like to hear something now. It's the speech has evolved, that it's a lot more. There's a lot
Yeah,
more what I'm going to do for you in the speech,
correct.
which I think is always the most important part of a speech. What are you going to do for people? How are you going to make my life better?
I'm going to be different than that guy. I'm the
Yeah,
difference.
yeah. And the difference is I'm going to make your life better because there's going to be no stress because you're not going to be wondering all the time. Uh, what's the next move? I have
Well,
a
we've talked about
plan,
this
and we're going to
before,
put the
but
plan into effect.
if Trump wins, what do you think is going to happen with Oregon, Washington, and California? They're not going to go along with it. We're done. We secede from the Union. We're going to make Columbia, mighty Columbia, or whatever the name of
I
our
don't know
state
about
is.
that, but
And
it's
we
certainly.
between the three states, we feed and provide all the wine for the entire country.
I would expect that if we won, if Trump won, that there would be less money coming the state's way. All three states. He's
It's the
already
other way
kind of
around, though.
said that.
I think it'll be the other way around. Our money will stop going to them.
Well, how do you do that? I mean, you still have to pay taxes, right?
Not anymore. We're not paying taxes to that.
Yes, yeah, yeah. That's
State taxes stay within the state.
well, but even just the federal taxes alone on what people make in California and Washington alone
That's
is
enough right
a nice
there.
chunk of change.
No more.
But, well, I'm not ready to foment revolution quite yet.
It's not revolution so much as it's just that we're going to ankle on the deal.
Well, I mean, if that's the case, and I don't see that happening. I just I don't think people have the stomach for that, to be honest with you. And unfortunately, Trump has given himself the greatest insurance policy in the world in J.D. Vance, because as bad as Trump is, the guy you really don't want to see up there is J.D. Vance.
The JD, I think, can be lured away with a shiny object.
Yeah. I mean, have you seen a dumber stick of mud than J.D. Vance for any higher office than dog catcher?
How did that guy ever get into finance? How did anyone ever think, yeah, JD, here's our business plan. What do you think?
Well, he had a couple of patrons. He got in with that Silicon Valley set there. The Peter Thiels and that whole thing, and they loved his book, and they kind of said, well, this is a guy we can use to
We can
reach
mold
the
him.
common people.
We can get him to say what we want. He
Yeah.
will say it.
And he has some street cred with the people that they wanted to reach, the people they have to reach to continue to be rich.
Didn't do much for the cat ladies, but we're past that now.
Yeah, we're not worried about the cat ladies anymore. We're not worried about the cats and dogs. We're on to bigger and better things.
Marsupials.
I would, if I was Trump, I'd be watching my back because he may be the guy that they really want.
Trump could get a stomach ache, you mean?
I wouldn't drink anything that was left on Vance's side of the table.
Tamper with his Diet Coke? Why, I never thought of it.
He just seems to be a guy, Vance, that, I mean, as much as you think you can control Trump, I don't know that you control J.D. Vance. I don't know that he, I think he's their guy,
So what would it be? Agatha Christie would write it that it was poison. She always used poison.
Yes, so it'd be poison, and Trump would be out, and Vance would be the president, and little Mike Johnson.
Who would be vice president? Mikey Jackson?
Mike Johnson, yeah. Boy, that'd be
he wasn't from a singing group called the Johnson Five, was he? Have I got him confused with somebody else?
Yeah, I think you might have him confused. But so Trump has bought himself an insurance policy because nobody's going to want to hurt Trump when Vance is the next one up. I think we're gonna if Vance win, if Trump and Vance win, everything we thought about seeing stupidity goes out the window.
Has to be reviewed.
Anything we thought about people having class and dignity and honor.
None of that. None of that.
Goes out the window. And anything we thought about, I mean, we virtually will turn it into Bro Nation.
James Carville seems to think that we're going to win.
Yeah, I've seen him on a couple of shows now saying that we're going to win, and he seems to know a lot more about it than I do. I hope he's right.
He's got some experience.
He's got experience and he's got connections. He knows the right people to talk to.
And he understands the idea. He said that people in Democratic politics in Louisiana would get pay envelopes. And if it was $480 in his pay envelope, he wanted to know, did he get shorted 20 or 120? And there's no way to know because you never see the envelope before somebody shorts it for you.
Right.
He said it was infuriating because you really didn't know how much had been taken off the top. And there was no way to know because it was taken off the top.
Well, that was the Huey Long trick, wasn't it?
I'm giving you something, but not everything.
I'm giving you something, but not giving you everything.
How much did you take? We don't talk about that.
We don't talk about that. Suffice it to say that it's less than it was. It weighs less than it did when it got here.
It used to be, but it ain't that
less,
no more.
Don't worry about it. You're still doing okay.
Honest,
did you see
that
the Carville documentary?
I didn't see that.
Yeah, I want to watch that. It's on Max. He's always been a fascinating character to me, man. He's just always been
a political animal.
Yeah, he's just one of those guys that he's going to get you, man. He's going to figure out a way to win. He's going to beat you. He'll do what he's got to do to beat you, but he'll beat you.
He's the one who came up with the idea. It's the economy, stupid.
Yeah, and I think at the time he was right.
One, I'm telling you what it is. It's the economy. Also, two, I'm telling you you're stupid because you didn't know that.
And the interesting thing is too is it's the I don't think he's wrong now. It still is the economy, in many ways. And what we haven't taken into account, though, is that the fact that many people in this country think that the economy is more important than anything else.
That's how they got into trouble. That's how they got taken down this windy road.
Well, that's it. I mean, normally you have a pandemic going on, a disease spreading like COVID, and there's no question about you close the stores and you close everything up and you ride it out. But unfortunately, the people, there were many people who said, "Well, it's more important for us to work and to get money than it is to fight disease. If we have to lose 1 million people in the process,
It's nothing. Chump change. I'll die at the cash register
yeah,
as long as it's
I'll
my cash register.
yeah, I'm not worried about it as long as one of them isn't me or my wife or my daughter or my dad, my mom. I
All
mean, really,
expendable.
once that happened, Michael, I really came to the conclusion that money overrides almost anything in this country.
Or name something that overrides money. You can't.
Death,
Not here. Yeah.
that's about it. And
And before
there
you
were
die,
enough
you're going to
people
suffer.
dying where maybe you could say that people want, I'd rather die with $10 in my pocket
Well, that's just
than
it. They say before you die, you're going to suffer. Will I have money while I suffer? Yeah, maybe. All right, I'm in.
yeah. Yeah, it's really a bizarre thing that people think that way, but they do.
They do.
They do.
And that's how we got in this mess.
So it is the economy. As much as people want to say that it's not, it is the economy. That seems to be the thing that people care about the most. Many people, not everybody, but in this election, you have to look past the economy because number one, the economy isn't bad. Now
It's not good.
prices are high, but the economy is working.
It's because we have no authority over corporate pricing.
Right. We're getting price gouged, but Trump isn't going to tell you that
No.
because his buddies
Is he selling
are
sneakers?
only corporate people. They're not going to tell you that. They're not going to tell you that they socked it to us during the pandemic and they see no reason to bring the prices back down again. That the president really doesn't have a lot of control over the prices.
Also, their attitude is, you want potato chips? Yeah. Shut up and buy them.
Yeah,
Shut up.
yeah. And plus, we're going to take half the bag out. So shut up and buy less potato chips for more money.
We got into your envelope.
Yeah,
We took a little off the
exactly.
top.
And there's a guy named Yui over there at the chip machine, and he's dropping half the chips in there that should be in there.
He's got your $100 bill. Don't
When you
complain to
look at
me.
the thing that says net weight 8 ounces, now it says nitwit 4 ounces.
The wit of a nit.
Yes. All right. You want to try to do this again Friday morning? Maybe we won't have
Delays.
the insanity that we encountered
Freaky Friday. We'll
this
be down
morning
to
with
three
our technical
days.
problems. Oh,
On
by the
Friday, we'll
way,
be. Yes.
Harry Gar,
Terry Gar. I know it. Yeah.
I had such a celebrity crush on her, man.
How could you not?
She was just, I mean, her. Go on YouTube and watch her. They've made like a mashup of her appearances on Letterman, and
They're
just
worthy.
just go and listen to her.
Feast your eyes.
Yeah, but also her comedy was just it was unexpected.
Sparkling.
Yeah, she had impeccable timing. She was just a dish to look at, and she made kind of the not the dumb blonde, but she she just her observations, the things that she said about life, the things that she talked to Letterman about, were just always so funny. I mean, I know she was one of his favorite guests, um,
Because Dave was no fool.
and Carson too.
Yeah.
Carson had her on the show a ton of times, and she was a funny, entertaining. I mean, I don't know, I didn't know her personally, but she's the kind of woman you wanted to go out on a date with. You know, you want to just go out and go for a ride and go to a restaurant, sit down and have dinner with her, and go to some bar and have a couple of drinks and
A
just
Puerto
talk.
Rican restaurant.
A Puerto Rican restaurant,
I
she'd have
think
loved
so.
it.
She'd
She'd
love
have
it.
loved it. But also kind of a girl you could bring home to mom.
Yeah. And mom would be happy about that.
Her 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 young Frankenstein role was
Frankenstein.
yeah, Frankenstein.
Putting on the Ritz. Putting on the Ritz.
She was great, man. May she rest in peace. All right, Pally. I'll see you on Friday if the Lord's willing. The creek don't rise.
It'll be a fractious Friday.
It'll
With
be a
only
fractious Friday.
three
Will be
days
a
to
few
go.
days. Um, who do you think can screw up worse between now and Friday? Harris, Trump, or Robert F. Kennedy Jr.?
I'm going to put it on the Yankees. Let them screw it up. Let them figure out a way to lose tonight.
We're all going to be okay, Michael. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is going to be the health czar of the nation.
My advice to him is you first, big boy. You first. Whatever schemes you got going, let's see how it works with you. You
Yeah,
first.
you first. Yeah, you try it. All right. Peace, love, and Manischewitz, baby.
Good to see you, Vinny. Love you.
Love you too, pal. See you on Friday. Bye. And thank you all for watching us. Please don't forget to vote. If you have your ballot in the mail, please take it to a drop box. Drop it in that drop box. That's why they call it a drop box. I don't see many drop boxes where you have to go up with the ballot. They all drop in the drop box. So take it over there, drop it off, and then go get a flag and wave it a little while for America. And we will be with you Friday morning at 10:10 or thereabouts, depending on what our internet connection feels like doing. Take care of yourselves, okay? See you Friday. Bye.